Happy Friday, everybody. How you doing? Oh my gosh. This is a little subject that a lot of people don't want to talk about. And I don't have all day to go through like all 3.5 million files. So I'm just gonna focus on what happened yesterday with the arrest of Andrew. Okay. Now, if you saw his picture as they were running after him, that's what my cat OJ looks like when I bring out the squirt bottle, when I'm getting ready to squirt him off the counter. But I saw this meme today. Imagine being on the wrong side of history while it repeats itself, like failing an open book test. Now, that's not for any of you in here. That's not for me. I'm going to go ahead and say that's for them. Because this shit's been going on for 30 effing years. Let's take a second and tell everybody good morning. And I have a very special consultant, correspondent. She moonlights for the BBC. She is from the United Kingdom. She is a real British person. Before I bring her up, let's tell everyone good morning. Good morning, everyone. Okay, without further ado, let's please bring up our United Kingdom correspondent. Good morning, UK correspondent. How are you?
Good morning, Brooks. Good morning, chat. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Because I think I forgot how to use StreamYard.
Oh, I can hear you fine.
I can hear your phone.
Who the hell's calling me? Son of a bitch, everyone knows I'm doing a very important interview this morning. Fuck them. Okay, it's ridiculous. I keep my ringer on in case it's my son, in case he needs something with my granddaughter. But I made it clear yesterday how important this interview was today with someone that moonlights with the BBC, knows all about the royals. Because, by the way, you're not going to get it from me. I don't know shit from Chinola. I'm like Ruthie in Ozark. I don't know fuck about fuck, okay? I don't live there. I know our laws, half-ass, obviously, and that's pretty much the short and curlies of it. So tell me, how did you feel when this news hit yesterday?
Well, I think I was like the first person to post it on YouTube. I posted it on my community tab because I was awake as soon as the news dropped because it was at like 8 o'clock yesterday morning, our time. So I posted it on my community tab and then I had to read it again. I was like, I can't actually believe I just read that because it's like the first time in 400 years that someone from the royal family's been arrested. It was just crazy. My mind was just blown. I was like, whoa. And then as the day wore on, obviously more details started to come out and everything started to unravel. But yeah, it's pretty seismic kind of event to have happened, arresting a former prince or the person formerly known as Prince Andrew.
Yeah, I guess he's going to start using a symbol for his name from now on. That's all I can think of. Lisa K. Ruitz will not be in chat, even though she's a member now. She's probably busy writing him letters. Retro wants to know what he did. You can go to www.justice.gov/Epstein, and you can put anyone's name in. Now, it's really hard to piece it all together because it's a lot of internal memos. It's people we don't know who they are, a ton of emails. There's a ton of stuff in there.
Well, let's not forget, he's been accused of some really heinous stuff for years. The whole thing with Virginia Giuffre was kind of the start of people actually realizing what he was accused of, what he was arrested for yesterday and what he's actually more broadly accused of are kind of quite different things, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'll let you go ahead, Brooks.
Well, I will just say that what he's been arrested for, and I'm not saying that they're done. So don't
Oh,
think.
they're not done. I guarantee they're not done.
But let's look at this real quick.
Okay.
I suppose a sign of the world we live in, where power has no responsibility, no ethics, and I mean he comes from a background of corruption, being above the law.
I think it's only because the public's probably put pressure on, and the media's put pressure on to have him questioned. But he'll probably disappear to some country where he won't be extradited.
I'm a royalist myself. I do follow the royal family.
So do you have the same reaction, UK correspondent?
I guarantee he's been told not to leave the country. Guarantee that, because he's only been released. He's released under investigation, so that means they can call him back anytime they want. If they get any evidence on anything else. And plus he's under investigation by 7 different police forces across this country, so he's going to have a really hard time trying to escape anywhere else.
And it also came out other countries. Now I know that they want him to testify in front of Congress, which, by the way, that's just going to be a monkey shit show. That's going to be like Ernie in a jail cell, because they're doing nothing except for yelling at each other. I'm talking they're doing nothing. They're not getting to the bottom of anything.
Yeah, I read something earlier that said if Andrew had testified in front of the House Oversight Committee, he'd be a free man right now.
But actually, I mean, to be quite honest, they would probably do something with him if they caught him lying. They probably would. I'm just being honest.
Well, I mean, they have asked him to come and testify, and they could subpoena him, and he would have to come and testify. So, I mean, that's still a possibility. It's just that in the meantime, while he's not subpoenaed, he's being investigated here, and he still will be, even if he is subpoenaed to the United States. So, we've got our own work to do when it comes to our own people that are in the files and that have been accused of the most heinous acts of violence that you can possibly perpetrate against the most vulnerable people in society. It's every nation's responsibility to take that on the chin and deal with it now, because no one's going to let anyone forget about this.
Exactly. Walking Dead said, "Is that OJ making all the racket?" You know it.
And I do support them. So hearing that from a member of the royal family is really, it's the last straw, isn't it, really?
I thought he'd go into hiding and get away with it. Yeah, so, no, that's all I've got to say, really. I'm pleased.
So what it comes down to is what he was arrested for yesterday. The talking heads around here are saying it can turn into a treason case, because they're saying since he gave secrets to Epstein to give to other countries. Okay, that's what he was arrested for. So it has nothing to do with trafficking. It has nothing to do with Virginia. It has nothing to do with these victims. Nothing.
Yeah, so what he was basically arrested for yesterday was insider trading, and I can't remember the exact charge that they put against him. I think it was something against the... Help me out, Brooks. My brain's gone to sleep. He was arrested yesterday basically for sharing confidential information with Epstein, which could have, they said would have been market shifting, and could be done with a life sentence. I mean, he can get up to a life sentence for that alone. So, and that's by far not even the worst of what he's overall accused of. But yeah, it's pretty big. It's either inside trading at worst and spying at best. You know, you're spying against your own country when you're a member of the royal family. That's a pretty big deal. And they had evidence, obviously, otherwise they wouldn't have been able to arrest him. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a pretty big deal what he was arrested for, but it's by no means the end of the story. It's
Oh,
just
no.
the start.
No, 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 not at all. No, not at all. All right, let's look at this real quick. This will catch everybody up. And if you see anything inaccurate in this, Cat, let me know.
You know it.
It's worth 1,000 words. The shell-shocked look on Andrew's face says it all. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the former prince, in the backseat of a car, seemingly hiding from the cameras, moments after being released from police custody.
This really is.
You know what that face is? You know what that face is?
Look,
That's a man. That's
shock,
a man who's been
fear,
coddled.
maybe disbelief at what has unfolded. This is a man who has now, once was a prince of England, has now lost everything. This is the first time in modern British history that a senior royal, any royal, has been arrested.
His release coming nearly 12 hours after Andrew was arrested on his 66th birthday in Sandringham, England, turning Queen Elizabeth's quiet country retreat into.
Did it upset anybody that it was his birthday when he got arrested?
It just made me happy.
Yeah.
But you know what? That face that he was pulling in that police car, that look on his face, that's the look of a man that spent 77 years of his life living in pure privilege. Pure privilege where anything he wants, anything he does, everything he thinks and everything he says goes without question and without reprimand. He spent 12 hours in a cell with a single bed and well, not even a bed, like a board, and a steel toilet. Like, that's the face of a man that just saw reality for the first time in his life.
And he didn't like it. And the statement that Charles put out, now, you know, what I put in Discord today, you know, because I was looking at some different things where, you know, Charles called Andrew a mama's boy. And he said, I've served queen and country. All you did was shag your mistress. Like, they're going, I mean, they're like two cats in a pillowcase. I mean, they're like
worse than YouTubers fighting, to be fair.
oh my gosh. I mean, they're cat fighting. I mean, this is worse than like when Gaelic and Al Trucker used to get into it. You know, you're ugly. You're fat. You're fat. First one to the tree is a fatty. I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
That's petty.
What's up with the teddy bears everyone keeps talking about? Why didn't
he was upset because he had to leave his collection of teddy bears to go to the police station to answer their questions. I mean, come on. What fucking full-grown 66-year-old man collects teddy bears, please? Oh.
And before anybody gets all crazy and upset, you know, what's the United States doing? What's the United States doing? Get in your time machine, go back to 1998 and ask, what were they doing then? What did the next administration do? What did the next administration do? What did the next administration do? What did the last administration do? I mean, this administration, there's a lot of stuff they can do. But they can't do it overnight. Remember, they have to investigate. We have a bass-backward system. Ours is not like England. We can't arrest on suspicion. We have to have investigation first. I'm not taking up for the fools, but I'm going to go ahead and pop your cherry and let you know not a damn thing is going to happen to the Clintons. Nothing. Don't get your hopes up. Do not even think about it. They go off saying they don't know these people at all, and there's pictures of them at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. Shit's been going on, according to the files, since 1997, and now we're supposed to solve it in a week.
That's what I said to you, ran it yesterday. It's a long-term thing. It's been going on for so long. It's been going on before 1997 as well. It just didn't start being documented. And it's also bigger than Epstein, and it's bigger than Andrew. I mean, and it's bigger than Ghislaine Maxwell as well. These things have been going on for so long that you can't just within the space of a few days, read however many millions of pages of files, arrest every single person of wrongdoing. And also, even in this country, you can't just arrest someone because their name is on a list, for example. The reason why they had two choices yesterday. They could have called him in as a witness to interview him without actually arresting him, or they had evidence and they had to question him about that evidence, where ergo they had to arrest him to take him in to interview him about the evidence that they had. That's why they arrested him, because they've got evidence.
Now, one of the
No.
things in the files is he has a lot of emails he sends to people, and he talks about, kind of how kinky Fergie is.
Oh, that's disgusting. She makes me feel sick.
Well, and
She
it makes
honestly does.
did he really want to divorce her, or is it true that his father said, no, we're not having this around? I don't think he cared about her affairs or anything.
Well, he was having as many affairs as her, and actually both of them being spare. I mean, especially Andrew, he was the spare, like the same way that Harry is the spare. So he knew he would never ever hold a position with the crown because he is the spare. So it was always going to be Charles that became king after Elizabeth died, and after if Charles advocates or if he dies, then it will be William. So Andrew was always the spare. He knew that he could push the boundaries the same kind of way that Harry did, only with Andrew a lot more illegal and a lot more disgusting. And him and Sarah had a really kind of like mutual understanding, open relationship type thing. I mean, she wanted to marry Epstein. She was photographed sucking men's toes and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, that if anyone started to drag the royal family through the dirt, it was them two, and they stayed together. I think there's a lot of evidence in the files from what I've seen that they may have. I'm not going to say they did because I don't want to risk my integrity. They may have
And you don't
taken
want
their
you don't
their
want
daughters.
to risk, and you don't want to risk your life. Anybody that wants to read between the lines and go, no, this is what I think happened. Shut up. People have died over these files.
Right.
People have died. But as far as Beatrice and what's her name, Eugenie, is that how
Eugenie, yeah.
yeah, they were at an orgy. They were at an orgy on Epstein Island. Unfortunately, Christina was that girl. She said, I won't be voting in another federal election again, and I damn sure will be screwing my taxes. You know how many people changed their W-2s or their W-4, I'm sorry, to married with 20 kids the other day? They're like, fuck you all. Fuck you all. You're fucking crazy. And Bad Bleach Bondi, she can sit there and scream and yell all she wants. For one, she can't, it's not their investigation. They have a brand new Easter basket. So either they're going to do something with it for the next 3 years, or it's going to fall on the next administration. That's all there is to it. Because you can't go back in time and have
Can't ring the bell.
do it. You can't have Eric Holder do it. You can't have Janet Reno do it. You can't have Bill Barr do it. And anyone that thinks Epstein clearly killed himself or was murdered, you're out of your mind. He's alive and well in Tel Aviv, Israel.
I believe that too.
Oh, he is. Lisa K. Ruitz is writing him letters as we speak. She has no problem with him. She thinks he was set up, that his brother did all this. Damn it, Kat.
I know, right? But yeah, no, I do think that they involved the children, and for that reason, they wouldn't. Although they were separated, Andrew and Sarah Ferguson separated, they still lived together. They said at the time, I remember it being a whole thing, that they were staying together for the sake of the children, but they weren't together like a couple would be together. They had like this completely weird, exploited kind of open relationship. And I think she honestly believed that she's just as culpable as he is. And she's been accused of some horrible things as well. And she's gone missing suddenly. Like, she wanted to have this big return to the UK, and the UK were like, no, you're right, we don't want you back.
No.
So
No.
wherever she is.
Part of the files is when he went to Andrew to get money for Sarah Ferguson.
Mhm.
And because she was being sued for unpaid wages to someone.
Mhm.
And he said, no, it's just my gift because you've earned it. So that's what you call blackmail.
Right. Exactly.
And don't get me wrong, Andrew did plenty of favors for him. Hence why he's in a heap load of trouble for giving him all those secrets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To a frenzy.
This is a royal estate being raided by Thames Valley Police. This is an extraordinary moment.
His arrest certainly came as a shock, but charges have not followed. Whether he faces charges, that remains to be seen, but the investigation continues.
It's the latest in the long fall from grace for Andrew after his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and accusations in a civil lawsuit that Andrew forced 17-year-old Virginia Giuffre to have sex with him, claims he always denied. But today's arrest not related to the sexual assault allegations, instead stemming from communications with Epstein while he was trade envoy for the British government. Emails between the two allegedly contain potentially sensitive government documents, some dated to 2010, well after Epstein.
Me too, Kimberly Deaney. And he did nothing but lie and lie and lie and lie to that committee yesterday. And I tell you what, anybody ever gets me something from Victoria's Secret again, I'm gonna make them eat it. They're gonna choke on it. They're gonna freaking choke on it.
Ain't gonna be no secret anymore.
No, Victoria don't got no secret anymore. We know Victoria's Secret now.
Had already been convicted of soliciting sex from a minor. In December 2010, Andrew sending an email titled Afghanistan, International Investment Opportunities, writing in part, attached is a confidential brief and asking for Epstein's comments, views, or ideas.
These are documents and information that was actually, he just shouldn't be passing on to anybody. The reality.
And that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Bath and Body Works. Man, I haven't shopped there since they got rid of Juniper Breeze. But now that I know what's in their damn candles and lotions, I'm like, F you all. Seriously. I'm reduced to putting nothing but cooking oil on my body.
Just make sure it's not baby oil, for God's sake.
Oh my God. Now we got Zelensky buying Diddy's house and shit. It's like, fuck's been going on around here? Was I taking a nap when the world went goddamn crazy?
It was government information, and that sort of privileged information could have been used by someone like a financier like Epstein to make financial benefit and gain from it.
He was arrested for misconduct in public office, which is a serious offence. If found guilty, this carries a maximum life sentence.
Just hours after his younger brother was taken into custody, King Charles spotted front row at London Fashion Week. Outside the event, Charles dodging reporters' questions.
Your Majesty, do you have any reaction to the arrest of your brother, sir?
Earlier in the day, he released a formal.
Charles has no fucks to give. And that email between the two of them that Andrew forwarded to Epstein because he wanted sympathy, Kat and I can fight better than this. Two bitches. Because when me and Kat get down, we get fucking down. These two, you're just a mommy's boy. I served queen and country. You just shagged your mistress. Don't forget about you outside talking to mommy's roses. And I'm like, hell's wrong with you two? And that is going to be my argument anytime Kat comes after me. Every time. Whether it works or not.
Statement reading in part, I have learned with the deepest concern the news about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and suspicion of misconduct in public office. What now follows is the full, fair, and proper process. They have our full and wholehearted support and cooperation. Let me state clearly, the law must take its course.
This is a massive scandal for the Royal.
Julie, wonder if Diddy and Epstein were in cahoots. No. Epstein, with his high moral integrity, found what Diddy was doing to be gross with the ashy skin and lots of black people. He wanted him shut down. Okay. He didn't like it. I mean, even Epstein has limits. Okay.
Diddy was the competition.
He didn't. He's just like, He actually said some things that people might consider racist.
Family, it has been for some time. The issue that they have always
I've never known a Jewish pedophile to be racist, though. What is going on around here? I need to stay awake longer.
had is whether or not their institution feels like it has anything in common with the British public, or if in fact being part of the royal family means you're part of a club where the rules don't apply to you.
Andrew and Epstein's friendship dates back roughly 3 decades.
Andrew was introduced to Epstein at some point in the 90s via Ghislaine Maxwell, who was his friend.
Epstein wanted access.
Again, this has been going on since the 90s. Anyone that thinks this just dropped last week needs to go beep, 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 boop, 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 and start reading it. Okay? You would have to go on a Caribbean cruise for a year to get to the bottom of it. There's so much stuff. And it's been.
I guarantee that it started before the 90s. This has been going on way, 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 way longer. And it runs way, way, way deeper. I mean, there isn't enough headspace in the world.
It has to be, because some guy they were talking about, you know his name, I don't know his name, but he received a knighthood from the Queen.
Peter Mandelson?
No, another guy, Jimmy. Is his name Jimmy Savile?
Maybe, yeah. I think I've heard that name vaguely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Anyway, someone like that. And anyway, they said, good, that'll keep him under the radar. And I mean, and these files have been compiled, I mean, from so many countries. And I'm sitting here
Right.
going, what have you all been doing all this time? Hell, I raised 3 children during this period, and this is all you did?
Mm-hmm.
You just collected a bunch of emails and shit and didn't do anything with them?
That's right. And email's really a relatively modern technology compared to how long it's been going on way before emails were even invented or even a thing. Telegrams probably contain this kind of information as well. If you go back far enough, fucking carrier pigeons are probably bringing it in the, it's where there is a lot of power and a lot of money, these kind of things get paid off, hidden under the carpet, ignored, silenced, and people, unfortunately have their lives taken for trying to speak out. And like at the end of the day, this stuff is as old as the hills, really. That kind of way of rich people covering their own arses is as old as the hills, in my opinion.
Okay, We Scottish Ma, what a cool name. So Jimmy Savile is who it is.
Jimmy Savile.
Savile.
Right, yeah. That's who I was talking about the other day. He was the most prolific paedophile in the UK. And he's dead. And nobody spoke out about any of it until after he died.
But he received a knighthood, and they were really happy about that. Really happy.
Yep. Peter Mandelson also has a knighthood. He's another person that the US want to come to testify. There's so many, the establishment, the top of the establishment. And when you're given a knighthood, it means you get to use the word Lord or Lady in front of your name. So just because you have the word Lord in front of your name don't make you nothing special. It in fact, it's one of the most corrupting positions that you can hold, because you can leak trade secrets and all of this kind of stuff. And realistically, you get to think that you're above the law because you're with the most powerful people in the world. And so you think you have some kind of immunity through being associated with the top of the establishment. And it's not just this country, it's all over the globe.
Some people totally deny the files. They deny all of it.
Some people deny the Holocaust, so there's that. I mean, people are always going to deny what they don't want to talk about and what they don't want to think about.
I'm not talking about Daisy right now. For real, she still thinks the Earth's flat.
Well,
He wanted to be
in some
the
respects, you just got to let
inner
those people
circle.
stay ignorant.
He did that through mixing with aristocracy, mixing with royalty. He was weaseling his way into royal circles. Andrew wanted access to beautiful women. He wanted a party lifestyle. He wanted to get away from the stuffiness of English royal life.
But recently released documents connected to the case against Epstein show the depths of their relationship.
3 million documents containing some of the deepest secrets of the Epstein files. A member of the royal family in photos, crouching over a young woman's body. The thing is, everyone knows his face. But also buried in here are emails between a sexual predator and a literal prince.
Descriptions of women: Russian, clever, beautiful.
5 other stunning redheads we will all just have to play with ourselves.
Disgusting. Look at the owner of the New York Giants. He was going back and forth with Epstein. He was like, is she civilian or a pro? And he goes, what would you prefer?
Oh.
I mean, it was like a magazine, just go through it. Like when you get on the airplane and they have the Sky News magazine, you can buy foot warmers and everything, whatever you want. And I'm like, you sicko. And now Roger Goodell is looking into this. Oh, really? I didn't know you were a police investigator. I did not know that. I did not know you had any arresting authority. Wow. V has a big question. Mir V, what is that blue dot next to the bod's names? Where's the wrench? I don't know. I promise if your name's in blue, you have a wrench. I don't know if YouTube changed something. On StreamYard, I can see it. I don't know.
I can see it. It's like a shield shape rather than a dot. I think maybe they've replaced the wrench with a shield. That's what it looks like.
Aren't they clever? Aren't
We've
they?
got shields now. We're defenders of the realm. Or
Aren't they?
whatever.
Aren't they clever?
Andrew asking if someone has found me some new inappropriate friends.
What I find extraordinary is not necessarily that Andrew had the arrogance to do this. It's that he was bringing a convicted sex offender into places, into the Queen's private homes, and nobody said anything.
Over the years, the two men remained close, even after Epstein served time, like this moment of the two captured in New York Central Park, just months after Epstein was released from house arrest.
Epstein was being investigated for sex offences involving girls as young as 14. And in 2008, he reached what is now viewed as a very controversial plea deal to plead guilty to charges of soliciting a minor. And as a result of that, he had to serve 18 months in prison, and he was also placed under house arrest.
After he serves his time, he now has to register as a sex offender. And what these emails show is Prince Andrew was one of the first people that Jeffrey Epstein reached out to when he was released, and immediately is talking about sending women to him.
And then in 2011...
Yep. There's someone else, I think, in America that they're saying, how could you still carry on seeing him even after he was convicted of this? And I feel exactly the same way. I was so angry when Andrew was like,
which one? Which one? Which one? Which one? Pick a name, any name. Pick a pedo, any pedo. Which one?
Right. It just, that thing of, for a fact that someone has been convicted of a crime like that, and you as a person that is still, at the time, still had his prince label, if you like, still a member of the royal family, still completely unharmed by any of this at that point, says, well, come over or we'll have a chat, we'll just hang out or do whatever we do. And by the way, can you bring some women with you? Come on now. It made me feel sick then, and it just makes me want to punch my phone right about now, honestly.
And right now, Andrew's going to be the hot topic until they get to the next one. Okay. This will die out, probably not the United Kingdom, and then someone else, then someone else, then someone else.
Well, hopefully this is the start of the dominoes falling, because right about now what it seems is that everyone's talking about all these people that are in the files and all this heinous stuff that they've done, and no one's actually making any arrests or holding any of these people accountable. This has to be the start of the dominoes falling, otherwise the whole release thing was for nothing.
The dominoes should have fell a long time ago. there is really no reason for us to have to look at this stuff. No reason. These people should have been investigated and prosecuted, and we would have heard about it on the news, and that would have been it.
Mhm.
I mean, hell, The View did like an entire show where Whoopi Goldberg's like, for transparency, I'm in the file because I was going to Julian Lennon's charity event in Morocco, and I just asked to use Jeffrey's plane. He's not my boyfriend. He's not my friend. And I'm like, but you asked for a whole ass plane.
Mm-hmm. But that's where this whole thing started to crumble when they started to investigate Epstein's finances, because he was a financier, right? So the thing is, they start by investigating finances, and then they suddenly come across all of this information about how they were making this money and where the blackmail was coming from and why were people being blackmailed and why were people dying suddenly, you know, unexplained deaths and all of that kind of stuff. Like, the whole thing began to unravel. So of course the people that he was financing and the people that were asking for money and the people that were partaking in all of this stuff is now coming to light. This should have started to come to light years and years and years and years ago. But everyone spent all of that time paying off the, in quotes, victims. You know, the Queen cutting a check to Andrew so that he could pay off Virginia Giuffre. I mean, these things are all things that the establishments and the top echelons of every society have been covering up for fear that they will be found out to be the people that they are. And, you know, now we're finding out on what's happening, ultimately what's happening about it. We're all just sitting there going, oh, okay, well, we kind of knew stuff like that was going on.
It's just crazy that this got released. I mean, the last administration said that will never be released to the public. And I was just like, okay, they must be working on something. I just didn't really think anything more of it. And then they're like, yeah, we're going to release it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's on my desk. Leave it alone. Now we know why. Now we know why.
Virginia Giuffre going public with accusations that Epstein trafficked her to Andrew.
Virginia Giuffre was perhaps Epstein's most prominent accuser. She says that she was recruited by Epstein and Maxwell and that she became Epstein's sex slave, effectively, is what she says. And she traveled with them, spent time with them, and she has also made serious accusations.
Did Virginia pass away? Yeah, it was a crazy situation. A few weeks before she passed away, she was hit by a bus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that bus came out of nowhere. And then they said it was a suicide. Now, I'm going to
First of all, between that time, she was hit by a bus. Then she put out a statement and said she only had 3 days to live. Do you remember that? She put out a statement and said, I only have 3 days to live.
Yep, she did. And I think it's because she knew, I mean, this, like Kat has been saying, our UK correspondent, this isn't just Ghislaine and Jeffrey or Andrew. Somebody from a very, very, very long time ago orchestrated all of this and started bringing people in. Very wealthy people. And they are elitist to where they're just like, who cares about those Russian girls? Who cares about those Romanian girls? Who cares?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that even Ghislaine Maxwell's father was involved. He ran the biggest news corporation, Robert Maxwell. He ran the biggest news corporation in the world at the time. He had more newspapers under him worldwide. Like, you know, every magazine, every newspaper was published by this guy. And he disappears from his yacht under really, like, everyone was like, what the heck happened? You know, where is he? And they found his body and said he had a heart attack and fell off his yacht. Sorry, what? This guy his Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, and he just accidentally had a heart attack and fell off his yacht. Yeah, sure, Jan. And that was years and years ago.
Eve too.
Exactly. I just think it was something to do with this whole situation, included Ghislaine Maxwell's father, who's not here to defend himself, to be fair, but
there's a lot of stuff in the files about him because posthumously his estate was paying for different what they call it escapades. What about die accident? No, it was not. If you read the files, don't just suggest who's in there. Go read for yourself. If you don't have access to it, let me know who you're looking for. I will send it to you. But I'm telling you right now, she was raising all kinds of hell with Charles and the Queen and with Philip. And a lot of it had to do with Andrew and with Sarah and what was going on. And then she meets this Dodi Al-Fayed, who was speaking out about certain pedophilic behavior in certain royal families. And then they had them an accident in a Paris tunnel. Really. The mother of the future King of England.
I mean, honestly, that isn't even like a shock to most British people. Most British people from the day that happened were like, that's not an accident. That was no accident. That was not an accident. It's just that no one ever had the actual hard evidence to prove it. Everybody just knew. It was like this collective thing that British people just knew that that was not an accident. And it's so strange because it was put out to the world as, oh no, they were being chased by the press and all these investigations were done, and no, it was definitely 100% an accident. And the British people sat there going, no, it wasn't. Like, you couldn't convince me. I'm sorry. There was no convincing me from day one that that was an accident. Absolutely no way, because...
But I don't live there. Just like I was convinced the picture of Andrew with Virginia. I mean, I just saw a blurb on TV. That's the reason I hate sound bites and I hate talking heads on the TV. I don't need them telling me stuff. I can read for myself. Because when he says, I take pictures for people all the time, she wanted to show her mom a picture of me with her. And I'm like, well, that does make sense. It doesn't make sense that he's a human trafficker. And now, here we are. Stupid ass Brooks. But no, if you read the files, just pick up. I mean, there was an email between Andrew and Jeffrey where they were laughing over a black dress that she wore to some event. And it was kind of a, well, she's wearing her black dress forever now in hell. Because they really, if anybody goes against them, they're destined to a different place.
Against Prince Andrew, accusing him of sexual assault during this time.
Virginia Roberts spoke to the BBC about her allegations.
Ghislaine tells me that I have to do for Andrew what I do for Jeffrey. And that made me sick. It was disgusting. He got up and he said thanks and walked out, and I sat there in bed just horrified and ashamed and felt dirty.
Giuffre was just 17 in the now infamous photo showing her alongside the prince and Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. Both Andrew and Maxwell have denied any wrongdoing.
Virginia Giuffre alleged that she was trafficked to Prince Andrew and ended up having sex with him 3 times.
He knows exactly what he's done, and I hope he comes clean about it.
Andrew was asked about Giuffre in a now infamous 2019 BBC interview.
I can absolutely categorically tell you it never happened.
That sit-down backfiring spectacularly for Andrew.
Okay, let me ask you something. Now remember, he wasn't arrested yesterday that has anything to do with the victims, because I don't believe he was just with Virginia. You can my ass on that, okay? I mean,
don't believe that either.
But I mean, obviously, I haven't gone through all of the files. And let's please remember, there is a ranch in New Mexico where Jeffrey Epstein ordered 330,000 gallons of sulfuric acid. And they're digging it up because they believe a lot of these women that were trafficked are dead and out in that desert. And again, he's alive. He's in Tel Aviv.
Mhm.
Let me ask you this. Why did Andrew think he did such a great job on this interview?
Because he thought he was he
spectacular.
genuinely thought that with his status as a royal, he could get away with saying anything he wanted to say and doing anything he wanted to do, and that's how he lived his life. So he had no qualms about doing this interview. He was just like, yeah, so I'm here to clear my name. So I wasn't there, I didn't do it, no one can prove it, and even if you could, you couldn't do anything about it because he still had his royal status. You know, it's unheard of for royal families to be arrested. That's why yesterday was such a big deal, even though it wasn't to do with any of this yet. But still, like he thinks he can act with impunity because he thought that the royal family would always have his back and that he would never suffer any consequence. So he could say whatever he liked and everyone would just believe it. That's why.
Kimberly Deaney said he's having brunch with Netanyahu. Yep, he's mentioned in the files. I'm not saying he has anything to do with it. I'm just saying he's mentioned. He did not cooperate with law enforcement. He just replied to some emails. I'm just going to put it that way. But I'm just at this point, I'm getting really fucking tired of this country giving all that damn money to Israel and England too. Let them sit and fucking spin. We bailed their ass out when we had to bomb Iran. I'm sure our people had better shit to do that night than fuck with their problem. Right, Kat?
Right. 100%.
She was very specific about that night. She described dancing with you and you profusely sweating, and that she went on to have bath, possibly.
There's a slight problem with the sweating because I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat. Well, I didn't sweat at the time.
In that same interview, Andrew addressing that infamous photo.
Nobody can prove whether or not that photograph has been doctored, but I don't recollect that photograph ever being taken.
In 2020.
No one can prove it, eh? No one can prove it. No one can prove I was there. No one saw anything. I didn't do anything or nothing. So you can't prove it. It's like Bart Simpson excuse, isn't it?
Ability to sweat, you would die.
I mean, it's just such shit. It literally is. It's just like I can sit here and say whatever the fuck I want because the average person is not as fucking clever as I am. So the average person will never know that I am just talking out of my backside.
And this whole thing where he got mad at the interviewer and he goes, "You didn't even bring up me being at Pizza Express." Fuck is Pizza Express? Is that a place where a prince hangs out?
It's a pizza restaurant, like any other pizza restaurant. Like I don't want to compare brands, but like a Domino's restaurant or a Pizza Hut.
You know what I mean? Is it somewhere that he frequents? Does he get his?
Hell no. No offense to Pizza Express in Woking, but I mean it's just. I'll have to go there one day and make a video.
No,
of Pizza Express.
Keep up because they're getting orders left and right, and they're like, "Fuck you all, we didn't see."
Oh my
To
god!
enter a lawsuit with Giuffre for an undisclosed sum, denying any wrongdoing.
It remains very unclear the details surrounding the settlement that Andrew paid, who in fact gave him the money to pay Virginia Giuffre. Did he tell the Queen a story that has now since turned out to not be true?
In October of last year, the king stripping Andrew of his remaining royal titles, including that of prince, and kicked out of his longtime residence, the Royal Lodge.
Why did it take them so long to act and to condemn him? It's all happened when public interest has become so fierce and so negative that the royal family were forced to act.
He's had all his titles removed, and he's now been moved by the king from living in Windsor out to effectively the equivalent of British Siberia.
Virginia's brother and sister-in-law reflecting on what that moment meant to them.
The recent stripping of his title, man, that day, I remember we were at work And I couldn't even hold myself together physically. I was like, Virginia, if you could see that even now, like what you have done, like a king had to acknowledge that something happened here.
It was tears of joy in the sense of, the accomplishment that the king had to acknowledge. But let's be clear, like, we need to do more.
Giuffre died by suicide in 2025.
Virginia took down a prince.
Not yet.
Shut
It's
up.
coming.
Shut up. Quit saying that she committed suicide. Unfortunately, Christina, she's not giving props to the Pizza Express. She said, we had a Pizza Express here. It's crap. Can you imagine walking into the Pizza Express? And there's Andrew standing there and not sweating.
It's I'm only laughing just because it's ridiculous. I mean,
Oh no,
I've
we
never
have to
ever.
laugh at something. We have to laugh at something. They've been laughing at us for over 30 years. We can damn sure laugh at them. We're not laughing at what they did to children at all.
Hell no, never.
I mean,
But
we
Pizza Express. I mean, that had to be in my mind now. I think maybe that was a code word or something because of all the pizza restaurants in the whole world, Pizza Express is a chain like Pizza Hut kind of thing, where you take your kids to get pizza after school or whatever. Like it's not like a upmarket restaurant. It's not the Ritz or something. It's the most sort of like run of the mill pizza chain restaurant. It was just so random that he said that, and I wonder if it was because he was really specific. He said Woking as well. Like that's a little town in the UK. Like as if that was going to clear him of some disgusting crime. Like it's
So he
crazy.
drove all that way because he was crazy, craving Pizza Express. Nobody at Buckingham
Right.
Palace knows how to make a pizza.
Right. And not only that, but he said he was there to celebrate one of his daughter's birthdays. Well, she's not celebrating her birthday in Pizza Express in Woking. Come on now. Come on now. That's ridiculous. That'd be like saying, oh, yeah, Melania, she chose to go to, I don't know, Jimmy Changa's for her birthday. Like, what? No, she didn't.
That'd be like me running into Melania at the Walmart, bumping carts.
Right.
Exactly. Don't tell Donald. Don't tell Donald. He hates when I get the green beans from the Walmart. I mean,
Right.
what's going on here? No. Those people don't mingle with us. Thank you, Angel P, for gifting the 5 Crime Lines and Lies memberships. My goodness.
And that is one for the history books.
Despite being released without charges, Andrew is still under investigation.
He's the king's brother. He was the queen's second son, and the implications of this just go.
Okay, so this is a question people in America have, which is why I have our UK correspondent. A lot of people are confused how someone can be arrested without charges and released without charges.
Because they're released under investigation. So I think in America, I don't know, but I think you have to have like all the evidence and then you arrest someone. But in the UK, you at the point where you detain them for questioning, you arrest them, and then they have 24 hours to charge or release. But releasing them doesn't mean that that's the end of the story. Released on bail, which is what he was released on, means that they've got evidence. They're still processing the evidence that's coming in, and at any point they can recall you to ask more questions. You can't leave well, you won't be able to leave the country, and there's restrictions placed on what you can do and where you can go, but they're still investigating. And at some point, if they decide that they don't have enough evidence to take it to trial, they can then say you've been cleared of that, and it's or they can file the charges at any point, because you're still effectively under arrest. You're just allowed to continue to live your life on bail, kind of thing. And it's the same with mostly all crimes, unless it's a crime where they think you're going to go and commit imminent harm, in which case they can remand you until they can charge you and remand you until your trial. So they can keep you in jail until your trial. So yeah, he's released under investigation. That means they're still looking at all the evidence that they can gather. They just have specific evidence yesterday that they needed to question him about, and to do that they had to detain him, i.e. arrest him.
Rogue said, look, this is Democrats, Republicans, they are elites. I'm going to disagree with you here. I don't think it's a Democrat problem. I don't think it's a left-right problem. I think it is a global elite problem that have been looking down their nose at us for many, many years and doing whatever they wanted. And now that it's out, and we know who the whistleblower was, whether people want to admit it or not, we know. We know how many people talked about this and why he wanted them killed. That's not part of the show. These are people that just do whatever they want to whoever they want for their own entertainment.
Well, that's the whole point is it's not a left-right kind of problem situation. This is someone from the UK who doesn't vote Republican or Democrat because he's not from the same country. It's a global problem.
Right, and I mean, what are your parties? You have right and left, correct?
We have right and left and centre, and then we have like Greens and all the kind of, random others. But yeah, we have left, right, and centre we have a 3-party system more than a 2-party system. But even then, it doesn't matter who you vote for. If you're involved in this, you could be from any side of any demographic in any country of the whole world. You have money, you have power, you have corruption, and this is the problem. It's a humanity problem rather than a left or right problem. That's just my opinion.
It's not our humanity problem, girlfriend. It's
Well,
not
me, because we're too human for that.
It's not Chrissy's. It's not our humanity problem. It's theirs. That's what Les Wexler was saying. His wife, her family owns Israel Airlines. Yeah. They gifted a plane to Jeffrey Epstein, but he doesn't really hardly know him.
Doesn't really hardly know him, but you could buy someone you hardly know a plane. Yeah, I do that all the time, don't you, Brooks? Just purchase a plane for someone I don't know.
I'm getting one for you right now. It'll be outside your flat, probably. Well, I'm gonna have to get a lot of life insurance and die. But anyway, it's
I'll go wait outside for it to arrive.
All right, I'm playing this because our UK correspondent said this is probably one of the most factual things she's seen. And normally she says, and I can't believe it's from an American bloke. Can you say American bloke for me?
American bloke?
I didn't know what that meant.
Say it there. They had to willfully neglect their duties or willful misconduct, meaning it's deliberate. They can't have any reasonable justification for why he would have sent those emails. But when you read the law, there's no clear definitions about a lot of this. And there has to be very serious. It has to be an incredibly egregious breach of the public trust.
They say this information was so sensitive, it is, quote, market moving, which means if it got out, a tip to somebody, it's insider trading. It could.
Let's talk about this. Boylan said before he goes to jail, he will check out. He might, but he's going to be in Tel Aviv with Jeffrey Epstein. I don't think he has the balls to do that. He thinks way too highly of himself.
True. And he was yesterday on that kind of watch in the jail because they've been saying here for the past 2 weeks maybe that they believe that he's at risk of that because of the way he's acting and he's not in touch with reality and all of this kind of stuff. Of course he's getting like mental health help like normal people would, but yeah, they did put him under a special kind of watch yesterday while he was in the cell allegedly. But like you said, I mean, these things tend to end up with people living scot-free in Tel Aviv with a different identity and a beard, when things like that happen.
It's clearly him. And people are like, that's AI. That's AI. Shut up. I believe what I believe. And I damn sure don't believe that he was murdered because they would be crazy to do that with all the secrets that he holds. They need him. We know that from the files. And he damn sure didn't hang himself in 2 minutes.
Own opinion, I'm pretty sure that Ghislaine Maxwell is actually with him as well because that ain't her. My opinion, in that jail cell with that therapy dog. That's not Ghislaine Maxwell.
No, that chick that's here looks like Pat Kay.
Okay. Love you, Pat.
No, I'm just saying it looks a lot like the same haircut and everything.
Sway the markets because people would go, I've got inside information, I'm going to buy this stock. That's how sensitive this information is alleged to be.
I think you nailed it perfectly. It's almost like insider trading. And there was one thing in one of the emails that I think is interesting, because if they're searching his properties, right, what might they be looking for?
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah, if they're searching his properties. In one of the emails, he references to Jeffrey Epstein about his views and comments at a potential investment in Afghanistan, but said, if I remember correctly, that he was also looking at Abu Dhabi. So I think they might be looking through any documentation, any records he may have about whether or not, whether it's respect to that investment or others, was he sharing information with anyone besides Jeffrey Epstein? And I also have to say this, I'll be remiss. In the United States, and it's very similar in the UK, if during a search warrant, if they find evidence of something else, they're not going to toss it. They're not going to ignore it. So I don't know what else they may have found or will find.
Police spent hours and hours searching Sandringham Estate, which is this 20-acre estate that is owned by the king, where right now Andrew is living because he's been kicked.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
I mean, I don't find it out of the norm that he's still going to be living on family property, but I don't really know how they get down, if you know what I mean.
Well, he was kicked. They always make this big thing about, he was kicked out of his royal lodge. He was kicked out of the royal lodge. Yeah, do you know where he's living now? On a 20-acre estate with 15-bedroom mansion and 6 members of staff. And he's complaining about that.
Well,
he's like, I only have 15 members. I only have 15 bedrooms. I only have 6 members of staff. Like, first world problems, mate. Get a grip. You know?
I put him in the Super 8 motel in Rogersville, Tennessee.
Right.
I'd be
Right.
like,
You saw his face when he came out of the police station, right? You saw that face when he was laying in the back of the police car. That ain't the man of a guy that lives on a council estate. You know what I'm saying? That's a man who, for the first time in his life, knew any kind of hardship, any at all, because he saw the inside of a police station for 12 hours straight. I mean, this guy has never, ever, ever, ever done a day's work in his life. Not ever. He's never lifted a finger. He's never contributed anything to society. He is he is basically living off the British taxpayer, and then is complaining about the fact that he only has 15 bedrooms and 6 members of staff in his house. I mean, that's what he's been reduced to.
email,
Damn shame.
not according to the email he sent to Jeffrey. It's a hoot. Him and Charles are going back and forth. You know, all you did was shag your mistress. You're a mama's boy. You know, you're going to mess this up. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. I fought for Queen and Country. You did nothing. You talked to roses and shag a mistress. It just goes back and forth.
The thing is, though, he was, at one point, he was held up as, I can't even remember the title, but it was something like the US ambassador to the UK ambassador to the US for military something or other, because he had served in the military. But at the end of the day, that doesn't give him a free pass, you know? It really doesn't. I mean, you know, what are we all supposed to be like? Oh, thank you so much for your service. And while you were there, were you abusing young children? Like, forget that shit. He ain't got none of his titles anymore, and he certainly ain't no ambassador for the British military. You know, he can complain about it as much as he wants, but there's not one person going to go, oh, I feel so sorry for you after all of that fighting that you did for Queen and That's bullshit. That's bullshit. You don't get a free pass just because you, in quotes, served Queen and Country. And he can call out Charles for being with Camilla while he was married to Diana. I've called out Charles for that plenty of times. But look at what he's done. Look at what's documented that he's actually done. And he's saying to Charles, well, at least I wasn't doing that with my mistress. No, but you were doing worse with little children, allegedly. So what's his point, you know?
You involved your own children.
Exactly.
Your own children were at an orgy on Epstein Island. You fucking freak. Sarah Wilson replies to Jeffrey after she said she wanted to marry him. He's like a brother to her, went on and on and on. He's an uncle to her daughters, and this is exactly what they needed. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Exactly.
Christina, Guthrie case is fake. It's looking that way. Virginia said, even if the girls were old enough, I feel bad for them. These guys are gross. And that is
100%.
an argument. And I don't know anything about the laws in England, so on me, but they're saying that Virginia at the age of 17, that's a year above the age of consent. I say otherwise. I say rape is rape. I don't care if you're 55 or what.
Out of his home. Obviously looking for whatever evidence, but this is one of more than a half dozen British investigations right now. Police agencies are all over this. We've got them investigating Andrew. We've got them investigating the former ambassador to the United States. We've got them investigating Andrew's former bodyguards. British authorities have moved swiftly and aggressively based on the information in the Epstein files to start criminal investigations and start arrests, as we saw today, of very prominent people. It is a very striking contrast to nothing going on in the United States.
It is. And yes, the laws are different. I believe there is an investigations happening in Norway, but look at the power of having the release of these files. Look at the power of having transparency. And look, here's the problem here in the United States. I think the DOJ tied their hands. In summer of last year, they put out a memo from the FBI, and the DOJ said,
oh, releasing the files has plenty of power, because I just realized that people that work for us, as in Senate and Congress, don't know how to read. They don't know how to fucking read. And then they get mad that their search is tracked. So is mine. You think they didn't? You think the FBI doesn't know what I look up on the daily? You think they don't know that, I looked up Lisa K. Ruetz in the Epstein files? Who are they? Why do they always think they're better than us?
we looked at everything and there's no other person to investigate.
But
Now,
Todd Blanche just said it less than 2 weeks ago. It's done. There's no criminal investigations of any kind.
Now, how do they go back on that? Did they say, well, we only meant with respect to sex trafficking conspiracy? Because there could be more here. Nobody was thinking about this. Nobody was talking about Prince Andrew potentially sharing sensitive, confidential information. They were talking about whatever connection he had to Epstein regarding sexual assault allegations. So this is very, very important.
Hold on, Kimberly. Was Lisa K. Ruetz knighted? Is that in the files? Fuck man.
It's cracking me up.
Oh, well, you know, I could just see it. I could just see it.
Lady Lisa K. Ruetz.
Mm-hmm.
These are incredibly serious times for him. I mean, and I have to tell you, the king, not only cutting off his brother, but basically you're on your own. But this is the most important thing.
I mean, look at this photo. I'm sorry, the photo we were just showing. Let's pull that up again.
It's shocking.
Him hiding in the back seat as he's taken away from the police station where he spent his entire day.
I have to give credit to the king, because if this happened in the United States, the first thing somebody would say is, oh, he's going to get off. He's going to get off. No, they're like, he's on his own. We are allowing the law and the process to take its effect. We're going to do our job. That's a big statement from the king to make.
It works differently in Great Britain, where often people are arrested at the beginning of a criminal investigation, whereas in the United States, the arrest usually happens at the very end. He remains under investigation, and there is very much a very good chance, especially given the evidence that we know is out there and in these Epstein files, that he will face charges.
You're 100% correct. This can't move forward without an indictment. Obviously, the system is a little bit different, but they have something. There's something that they believe that would support this charge of misconduct in public office. And now that they have an opportunity to really have a view into his life and his property, this may be the beginning of a very dark and serious tale for former Prince Andrew.
And we should say there are still investigations, criminal investigations in Britain underway into Jeffrey Epstein's planes ferrying young women, maybe teenage girls, into 6 different airports in Great Britain. All right.
Yep, that's what I wanted to say as well about this interview. Sorry, just in case you were just about
Oh,
to
go
speak.
ahead. Yeah, exactly. The Lolita Express. Go ahead. You take the wheel.
Yeah.
Wait, it's not Cat. This is UK correspondent Cat. All right.
Indeed. I only speak on what I know. So this whole thing about the planes that are being investigated. So there's an airport. I've lost my AirPod. Hang on a second. There's an airport in the UK, London Stansted, where Epstein's private flights used to go to and from. and they pulled all of the manifests now from that kind of time when that was all happening, and they're looking really, really, really in depth about the people that were brought here on the planes, because they've also had allegations from Andrew's staff, or like bodyguards, whatever, that they were told they had to let women with the surname Windsor into his private quarters in the palace. So they were flown over here on Epstein's planes and allowed to enter the palace under the name of Ms. Windsor. So whoever they were, whatever girls they were given the surname Windsor so that they could align the surname with him. And they were brought over on these planes. So that is a massive part of the investigation into Epstein and into Andrew, that they're investigating the flight logs and manifests and who the people were that were brought over. And that, to me, suggests that they're going to find that there were way more than Virginia Giuffre that were brought over to this country and sent from this country overseas on Epstein's airplanes and have something to do with Andrew, ultimately.
I agree. I did not see this yet, Christina, but the New York Post is generally very reliable. $35 million settlement just reached between two victims and the Epstein estate today.
I saw that.
How can the Epstein estate settle anything when he's dead? Let me explain how. Because that bitch that was helping him get surrogates, I can't remember her name now, when he fake died, she got $600 million. She's
his ex-girlfriend or something, is it? His ex-girlfriend.
I mean, in his mind, everyone's an ex-girlfriend. I mean, really, in his mind, you're his ex-girlfriend. Okay, I'm telling you.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And so she has a financial advisor in Tel Aviv, Israel. She's in Argentina. She flies to Tel Aviv every 6 months to see her financial advisor. Now, this started out at $600 million. Willed to her, no questions asked. Nothing. There you go. There's your money. It is crazy amount of money now.
Follow the money.
Crazy amount of money. Don't get me going on the girl he put through dental school. And he had his own dental chair on the island.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw those pictures. That was disturbing as hell.
I was sitting there going, fuck, I need my teeth cleaned.
Right, Jesse Weber. You can see Jesse live on Jesse Weber Live tonight at News Nation at 11 p.m. Eastern. Okay, for more on the fallout at Buckingham Palace, let's bring in Kinsey Schofield, royal reporter, commentator, and host of Kinsey Schofield Unfiltered podcast, and royals expert Hillary Fordwich, the president of I'm sorry, do we have a typo in there? I think. At any rate, Hillary, you can say what the business development consultant says. I think we're missing a vowel in there. Thank you both for being here. Hillary, now that I've gotten through that botched intro, how hard is it? I mean, it's difficult to overstate how big a deal this is. No royal's been arrested in nearly 400 years. And this is a man, Andrew, who grew up in the lap of extreme luxury, who is notorious for his narcissism and entitlement. Quite a comeuppance to spend an entire day in a police station cell.
You're absolutely correct about that. He was arrested at 8 a.m. up in Norfolk, and the Thames Valley Police had traveled hours to go and pick him up. Also, his property back at Royal Lodge was searched during the day. They were still also searching in Norfolk, and he spent his day, actually part of the day, in a prison cell where he was actually, there was a steel toilet.
Michael Myers' hair said floss and whitening strips is cheaper. It is. But this girl went through dental school and she didn't do anything. She didn't do root canals. She didn't do braces. She pulled teeth.
Mm-hmm.
She pulled teeth.
That's really all he was given. He had left at about 7 p.m. and there was that photograph taken, you saw. What's so sad about this, many aspects, but one of them is that he squandered the tremendous popularity he had as a war hero, totally squandered it, and he betrayed his mother, his family, and his nation with regard to this misconduct in public office. And that gave the reason for the police to be able to arrest him.
Thank you. Yep. Karina Sholak is the chick's name. Yes. Thank you. Her name floats around everywhere, but she has been under the radar all this time. All this time. And then it comes out in the files that he willed everything to her. Everything. Everything.
To take him in for questioning, let alone all the debauchery and everything else that we've seen from the Epstein files.
Yeah, this isn't even touching the years-long allegations of sexual misconduct. Kinsey, King Charles issued that statement saying he fully supports this police investigation, but he has been seen by many as dawdling when it comes to taking action with Andrew. He only stripped Andrew of his royal duties and titles after public criticism of Andrew became so intense it was impossible to ignore. There are reports of tension between King Charles and his heir, Prince William, who has long pushed for Andrew to be completely shunned.
Well, yeah, I think the scandal surrounding Andrew was treated as a royal disgrace. And tonight it's become a criminal crisis. And I sympathize with the king. Let's not forget, this is a man that's regularly receiving cancer treatment. He inherited this problem. Andrew was not a working royal under King Charles's reign.
No. Not my country, not my family. But I will say this right now. He didn't inherit anything. This is his brother. This is his brother. And the big talk, at least, here across the pond from you, is he going to step away? Because it's obvious from the emails that he knew what his brother was up to and did nothing about it. Now, of course, everyone's going to say, well, because his mother, now things were getting done. But I just think for like a sense of fresh, a breath of fresh air, just remove yourself from the whole situation and let William and Kate have it, and let the country just have a sense of, okay.
Right. I 100% agree with you. I don't actually think that it's going to happen, but I 100% agree that that's what should happen. But that, unfortunately, when it comes to that kind of thing, see, if I was William, I would be exactly the same. I'd have no time for any of this, because ultimately Charles is his brother, but he's William's uncle, and you don't have the same affiliation with your uncle as you would with your brother. So in that respect, William is, innocent in terms of he don't have to protect his uncle, but Charles in some respects has to protect his brother because he's his brother. So I think, honestly, that would be the best thing for everybody. No one, honestly, I don't think many people really wanted Charles to be king anyway, especially after what happened with Diana, and especially after he got married to Camilla. There were a lot of people when he got married to Camilla that were like, well, she'll never be my queen and he'll never be my king. Whether he is the actual king or not, I'm not going to recognize him as my king. And that's exactly how I feel, by the way. So I think, yeah, I do think he should step down. I just don't think he's going to, because he spent all of his life wanting to be the king so bad that it was almost like, at every turn, he was like, well, I could do that, I could do that, I could do that, I could do that. And his mum, obviously, Elizabeth, refused to abdicate, as was her right. And so now I don't think that's going to happen, because he wanted it for so long that it's almost like that would be for him, in his mind, the absolute worst case scenario would be for him that he had to abdicate, because he wanted it for his whole entire life, and it was his birthright, and in his mind he's determined to be that's why he disassociated yesterday and was like, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor instead of my brother or any connection to the family. He is in a difficult position, but I think ultimately I'd like to see him say mea culpa kind of thing and abdicate. But I honestly, in reality, don't think that that's going to happen. But we'll see. It would be that even in itself again would be hugely seismic and game changing if he did that, for sure.
Well, I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. And again, I don't live there. I don't know these people. I'm going to say William has a lot more Diana in him than Charles, because I did read one email where William said he did not want his uncle around him, his wife, or his children ever again. And
Could you blame him?
any royal event, if he's there, he won't be there. He will not be there. Well, they can't do that. Because let's face it, no one's there to see crusty ass Camilla.
Absolutely not. It even makes me so angry when people say she's the queen. She's not the queen. She's the queen consort. She happens to be married to the king. She has no rights in her own right. If the king died, she's not going to suddenly become the queen. Like, ultimately, she is a nobody. She's just the person that's married to the king. So forget calling her the queen. She don't have any rights or any real responsibilities in life. Let William do it. He is coming to it, like you said, with the spirit of Diana, which she should have always been the queen. If Charles and Diana would still be married and Diana was the queen now, I don't think anybody would have an issue with the royal family or what Charles is doing. It was her that was carrying it. But no one likes Camilla. I honest to God don't know anybody that does. And the king is only there because he was born into the role. Realistically, he could step down tomorrow and I would not bat an eyelid. I literally would not lose a second of sleep.
Well,
bring William forward.
Then there goes my next gift I was going to get you. My gosh, after the plane, I have 365 days of Charles and Camilla. It's a daily planner. And so every day you open it up, there's a picture of Charles and Camilla, and you can write down your day. There's a picture of them. So I guess I'll put that on the back one.
Yeah, please put it on a bonfire or something. Kill me now. Kill me now.
William said, I hope when Charles passes, they kick Camilla's ass to the curb. She seems to believe if he passes from cancer, she's going to rule everything.
She's not going to, she doesn't have any rights at all to rule anything. She's got no birthrights at all. She's not a royal. She's not even a full-blooded royal. She married into the family. So she's not part of the establishment. She's got nothing to say or nothing to do with anything. In fact, Kate has more power and more just everything. She's got more jus than Camilla will ever have in her whole entire sorry lifetime. No one thinks of Camilla as the queen. People think of her as the person that is the reason that Diana's not around anymore. He married her. Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, when you all get access to the files, I think everyone should have them, so we're not having these conversations of that didn't happen. Well, that's not what they said. That's not what the TV said. Just read them for yourselves. Because I'm telling you something right now. I think Camilla might have had a little something to do with Diana's death as well, just from some things I saw in there.
Wouldn't doubt that either.
It was Queen Elizabeth's reign.
I can't prove it, and I do value my life. I just caught a hint of a suggestion. Let me put it that way.
It was Queen Elizabeth that cut the check to Virginia Giuffre for what we think is $12 million, an unbelievable amount of money, just so the royal family could go on to celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee without the embarrassment of a potential civil trial on the horizon. And so I really do feel bad for him. I think, yes, I wish that he would have been more aggressive immediately after the death of Queen Elizabeth, but I'm sure that he was just trying to wrap his head around his new role, as well as navigating, as we know now, some health issues along with Catherine, the Princess of Wales. Both, Catherine, we know now in remission, but suffering from cancer in 2024. Could he have been more aggressive? Absolutely. But I think he's in a terribly tough position.
Hillary, there are now investigations into private.
Diana was murdered. Dodi Al-Fayed was murdered. The bodyguard won't speak. Something was given to him in the hospital. He has no memory of the wreck. The guy behind the wheel, no way was he drunk. It's impossible. I'm not saying the guy's never had a drink. They are not going to let the mother of the future king get into a car with someone that has had an entire fifth of Jen, no, no, it would never happen. Would never happen. That's insane. Because when that came out, oh, well, he was just drunk. No, there's no he was just. And let's look at the impact of the crash. Okay, they're going through a tunnel with these motorcycles around them. The protocol is to have one car in front and one car behind to keep the paparazzi away from her. They were called off the day before. And then suddenly, this guy, okay, it also turns out that he has cancer and he was going to die, slams into the wall at like 125 miles an hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I
That's
believe
not an accident. That's not an accident.
No, I mean, I believe all of it.
Flights into 4 separate airports in England, all Epstein's private planes allegedly ferrying young women to Andrew. Could today's arrest just be the start?
Well, actually, yes. And also, those women were instructed to give their name as Mrs. Windsor. And then the words were from Prince Andrew at the time, now Andrew, to let in, the Lady Windsor. So it was really bad.
Oh boy, we're talking money. Okay, UK correspondent said $12 million check cut by Elizabeth. Now that went to Virginia, correct?
That's what she just said on that interview about a minute ago. She said that they believe it was $12 million, the check that Andrew gave to Virginia Giuffre.
And
that was cut by the Queen.
With people saying these women need to shut up because they've all been paid. Well, no, that's not how this works. Well, what would they rather do? Would they rather see someone in jail or would they rather have money? Both. How about that? Both.
Yep.
How about that?
Yeah. See, the other option is that they are unalived in suspicious circumstances.
Yeah.
You know, these people, Jeffrey Epstein, how much do you reckon Jeffrey Epstein was worth, like, overall? And then you think about $12 million being paid to one victim. Well, so that victim, the person that perpetrated against it can have $600 billion or whatever, but the one person they pay 12 million to, and that person then is supposed to shut up about what happened to them forever. Why? Because a really rich man paid her to. What? Make that make sense.
Exactly. Boylan family. We can do a whole show about my thoughts on Diana. It won't be a popular show because people think I'm crazy, but I'm not because I read the shit myself. I learned how to read when I was 6. I have comprehension. I do. Maybe not at first. Kat accuses me of that quite a bit. Hence why when she calls me, she goes, I need to make sure that you're sitting down and paying attention.
Yeah, but that's a listening problem, not a reading problem.
I bet his family got a handsome payout. Now she's talking about the driver. Undisclosed, and the bodyguard. Now, here's the thing. When all this was going on, and this is in the files, the Queen, Philip, and many people just wanted her buried in South Africa and let her brother take care of it. But when the outpouring came from their, and this was the word that was put, subjects, they knew they had to do something.
Yeah, I've never, ever in my whole entire life seen a nation mourn one person the way that this nation mourned Diana. And it was, I mean, literally, there wasn't a single person in this country, and maybe around the world, I don't know, but there wasn't a single person that wasn't affected by Diana's death at all, because she was loved, like universally loved by everyone. And so, you know, they can pay whatever money they want to the families and stuff, but it's the same kind of stuff, isn't it? It's like, oh, okay, well, we'll just pay you to stop crying, or we'll pay you to stop talking. Like, you can't, no amount of money is ever going to take away what you've been through or what they put your family through. They just think it will. They hope it will.
And real quick, there's nothing in here to argue about. No one is talking bad about England. Okay. This is
Oh, you can talk all the smack you want about the royals. I've got no concern about that.
I don't really like when people say bad things about those daughters of Andrew and Fergie's. I believe they were groomed. I don't think they had any choice. I think this is disgusting. I don't like when people talk about the ones that work in the palace. I don't think they had any choice. And I'm not saying, of course they have a choice, but they have two choices. Do I say something, no one does anything, and on the way home I get killed and they call it suicide? These are the choices these people have to do. If you remember Saul Price, that was getting some information to send to Julian Assange, look what happened. He's dead. He's dead.
Yeah. And that's the case across the Epstein files, realistically, is that a lot of the people that ever were witnesses or have tried to speak or have put any kind of testimony forward have ended up 6 feet underground. So let's not think that didn't happen, because it quite clearly did happen to many victims, or witnesses.
I agree.
To use that name.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, Mrs. Windsor. It was Miss. I was just thinking that Mrs. Windsor was the exact words. But now, with regard to
fuck out of here, September Angel. I know where you're from. You're a descendant of the royals. Who?
I'm a descendant of the royals, apparently, like King Richard III or II, or I don't know. My cousin traced it back.
Did Pat do your DNA too? Who are you descendant of? I've got to hear this. Son of a bitch.
what this means, I will say this for the royal family. Prince William is squeaky clean. Prince William, from the outset, wanted zero tolerance of any of this. And I think he's very much behind the King's statement. He and Catherine came out in support of it. And the King has done, at least it's always better late than never, done what was necessary at this time. He also did contribute 2 million to that 12 million that Kinsey mentioned that went to Virginia.
He denies
Ukraine.
that. He has denied that. The King denied that.
Yeah, he denied it, but there's some I think in terms of paperwork, well that remains to be seen. In terms of the paperwork, also purportedly what is going to come out from still the Epstein files, if you laid paper over paper, it would be about the height of 2 Eiffel Towers. So we have a lot to still come out.
Yeah, Hillary, very quickly before we go back to Kinsey, what's been the reaction in Great Britain?
Oof. True story. Because there's 3.5 million files. And when people go, it's redacted, it's redacted, it's redacted. It's redacted for me, certain names. It's redacted for V. Oakley, Michael Myers here, Susan, not for them. They know exactly who they're talking about. You think someone of power is going to look at something redacted and be like, now hold on. All right, September Angel is back. I want to hear who in the royal family she's related to. What's up, September Angel? So are you a cousin of William and Harry?
Nope.
Who?
Diane Spencer.
Really?
Oh,
amazing.
How are you related to her?
Okay, I'm gonna explain it. Okay, I am a Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton is like my 6th removed great grandfather. He came from England or Britain, somewhere over there. And
Alexander Hamilton came from.
He was nominated as president. He might have been.
I'm just saying he didn't come from Britain, as far as I know. He was from one of
Yes, he
the
did.
Caribbean islands. He came over from one of the Caribbean islands.
It's in my family tree.
Carry on anyway. I'm interested in the Diana Spencer part.
And it goes back, and Hamiltons go back to the Romanovs and the Spencers.
Where's Pat Kay when you need her?
I didn't realize you were going to do all this. Where'd you learn to do all this?
actually grew up having severe OCD, and I just kind of started doing it for friends and family, and then they were like, "You should start doing it by yourself," you know. So
I've never had somebody clean for me that has OCD. Holy shit, that's awesome. Oh, okay, sorry, I was not muted. Okay, anyway. Okay, go back to your story, September Angel. So you are cousins with Diana.
Yes, from my family tree, the Hamiltons go back to like.
Okay, British Leeward Islands, that Charlestown on the island of Nevis in the British Leeward Islands, part of St. Kitts and Nevis. So not actually Great Britain, but a British island. Okay, I'll give you that.
Anyways, they go back to the Spencers and the Romanovs.
Well, I mean, her brother, William's brother, Diana's brother, has been very vocal about what he thinks happened to Diana from the start of this whole thing when she died.
He said it at the funeral in front of everybody. The Queen put her head down and didn't say another word.
Anyways, I'll jump down now. That's how my family tree goes back.
That's actually fascinating. I love when people get their ancestry back. I can't wait to tell Pat about this. Thanks, September.
You're welcome.
To this arrest, because remember, this is, right now public polls show there's a low, I think the lowest support in recent history of the monarchy and the royal family. Hillary, that's for you.
Oh, sorry. Yes, in terms of opinion polls, it's been extremely low. There's been about 28% of the British public have actually said that they're in support of the way that the royal family has been handling this. Hence that statement from the king, as I said, better late than never. But I do think moving forward, this is an existential threat. And that's why King Charles said that he was wholeheartedly in support of the police investigation, and the police must actually take its due course. And very importantly, you've touched on this earlier, but he did not refer to Andrew as my brother, nor even a member of the family. And again, the force comes from Prince William of zero tolerance, wanting him ousted, and ousted actually in the middle of the night from Royal Lodge when he was shipped off to Sandringham.
Yeah, that just happened in the past couple of weeks. Kinsey, the United States Congress now wants to question Andrew under oath. Several congressmen this week have asked King Charles to direct his...
Good luck. They're just going to sit there and kiss his ass and say, "Thank you for being here. You're so brave." They're not going to do shit. And Jim Jordan is sitting there. He's loving the cat fights. He's not doing anything. He's just like, the witness has time to answer a question. And these people just keep talking. They won't even let anyone answer. They won't let one person answer. And they've got the wrong people up. Why are you talking to Kash Patel? Why are you talking to Pam Bondi? They released the files. I mean, you're bringing them in to ask them what they're doing about it. Wouldn't you prefer them being in their office doing something about it? That's all they do. They just play politics. They're such idiots.
Brother to come to the U.S. and do so. Obviously, Andrew is refusing, but it shows the pressure is not just in Great Britain. The pressure is from the United States as well.
And it's my understanding that the palace is advising the king to encourage Andrew to testify in front of Congress. We can't forget, we expect to see King Charles here at the end of April in D.C. for the 250th anniversary of our independence. Trump keeps pushing this big event, the king and Trump together, and they can anticipate a lot of backlash unless King Charles addresses this properly, talks to the public, says, "I didn't know about this. I am completely unaware. This man does not share my same morals and values."
He can't say that. He can't truthfully say that he didn't know anything about it. He cannot truthfully say that. And if he did come out at this point as the king and say, "I didn't know anything about what Andrew was doing," the whole country is going to call BS on that right straight off the bat.
Right.
He can't say that.
So as of this morning, the big visit is actually going to be William.
That's probably a better idea, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because there's no way he's going to come out and be like, "Oh, I didn't know what was going on." Of course you knew. Your mother knew, you knew, the whole family, the whole country knew. So how did you not know? That's not going to fly. Promise.
And the only person that we know that won't have any of this stuff in that family, don't get me going on George Strait, because not one person has congratulated me when I said George Strait is not going to be in those files.
I gave you a cookie. What more do you want?
I know. That's true. That's true. But I mean, the only one that absolutely will not tolerate this is William and Kate. I mean, they won't at all. I mean, those emails are brutal from William. I didn't realize he's got a sharper tongue than you. He called his own uncle a cunt.
Good man.
I didn't know that.
He uses the English language correctly.
People protesting in the streets in DC come April, you would see a lot of negative response to King Charles visiting the United States.
Yeah, you know,
he's been heckled in the UK, so that's right.
Yeah,
100%.
Hillary, you know, just to put this in context, the last time a member of the royal family was arrested was in 1487, I believe. It is a long, long time ago. 1647. 1647. When Oliver Cromwell arrested and then executed King Charles I. This is like amazing, huge news in Great Britain and around the world. All right, Kinsey Schofield, Hillary Fordwich, thank you both so much.
I really found that interview interesting. I thought that was a really
I thought so
interesting
too,
segment.
especially from an outsider's perspective. I really did. Now, I have a question, because we don't know what's true here and what's not when it comes from England. Is it true? Because I didn't find it in the files. I haven't looked yet. I try to cross-reference everything to see if it's true. Is it true that William actually had one meeting with Andrew and told him that when the Queen dies, he said, you will be done, and so will your children?
I don't know that to be a fact. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me, but I don't actually know if that's a fact or not. I don't also think that that's the kind of thing that would usually get discussed outside of the room. So somebody must have leaked that, unless William directly then emailed someone else and said, look, I told Andrew this. Usually what's said behind closed doors,
Andrew
ever written down.
Andrew emailed it to Jelaine.
Oh, well, that's then a possibility.
Yeah, that
I mean, if Andrew was
his snot nose, his snotty nose nephew. Am I doing good with my accent?
absolutely, darling.
With his dead mummy, had the nerve to talk to his uncle that way.
Well,
Then
it just
there-
goes to show how narcissistic Andrew is, that he doesn't believe that he deserves any of this kind of criticism or backlash. He thinks that he should have got away with this.
Yeah, the reply comes back, well, what happened? And then he goes into, this is what he said. Because it started off with a rant. This is what William said. This is what William said. Just like the email about Charles. You know, Charles is so mean. Charles is so mean. Well, do you need to get back to work, sweetheart?
I do, yeah, but like I've got another 15 minutes before I have to start again.
Okay, cool. Then we got 15 minutes. I'm loving this. I know there's not a lot of people in here, and that is A-okay by me, because I was really afraid there would be more, if you know what I mean.
Revelations from the Epstein files raised some serious questions about the reliability of what the then Prince Andrew said in a BBC Newsnight interview in 2019.
Tonight, for the first time, Prince Andrew speaks out.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady.
Why did this woman have to hire her own security and the BBC get her security after this interview?
I don't know. Possibly because she knew too much by the end of the interview. I don't know. Maybe he thought there was things that shouldn't actually be broadcast after what he said, because it wasn't. I don't think it was a scripted interview. I don't think they gave him like an opportunity to script his answers. He was talking off the bat, and then obviously they edited it and put it out. But maybe he said things that he shouldn't have said. Either they put those bits out or they didn't. But she knew because she was in the interview. Emily, make this.
But when it comes to the entitled and narcissistic people, you ask them any question, they're just going to paint themselves into a corner. And that's what he did. And what is so odd is he thought he did a great job. Everything from Pizza Express to how he didn't sweat, at least at that.
Right. So here's the thing as well, which is just that I just read today in a newspaper. So I don't know whether it's true or not. It's newspaper journalism. But apparently the palace today have set up some kind of like war room because they're afraid that Andrew now is going to start spilling even more secrets about the royal family that aren't in the public domain. So there seems to be a bit of a fear thing going on that maybe he could, you know, in that respect, open up the doors to even more stuff that was going on in the palace that they don't want out there, you know? It's just the tip of the iceberg in that respect. So take that as you will. That's just what I read today in the newspaper.
I sold a deer in 4414. Can you imagine being on that PR team? No, I can't. I can't. No. Now I think it's Sky News Australia that they're really the ones. Does England own Australia?
Not so much. I mean, it was a former British colony, and I think that the monarch is the monarch of Canada and the monarch of Australia and the monarch of England, sort of thing, like, or the UK. They have the same monarch, but I don't think they really consider themselves to be British. They're ex-colony. They're their own country. But yeah, they have the same royal family because the whole thing is just spread across the world.
They said all Andrew has to say is that his brother knew about this and everything went away. They said, because you cannot challenge or charge a monarch, and
You can't. That is true. That is true. The king is the only single person in the whole country that is above the law. So when they charge his brother, it's a bit of a... That's another reason why I don't think he'll abdicate. Because if he abdicates, then he may become subject to prosecution. If he stays as king, there's nothing they can do to him.
Plot twist. Okay, I got it. I didn't know how it worked. Okay.
That day forth, I was never in contact with him.
We've gone through his replies to find out how they stand up to what we found out since in emails which were apparently sent by and to Andrew. He has previously denied any wrongdoing.
It would be, to some extent, a stretch to say that as it were, we were close friends.
We now know that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Jeffrey Epstein were in frequent contact with each other. They talked business, they mixed socially, they visited each other. They were close enough for Epstein to set up a dinner date for Andrew, promising that his guest was 26, Russian, clever, beautiful and trustworthy, in an email from August 2010.
In 2000.
Now, UK correspondent, and I haven't done this in a while, but Madalena Kojakari, I know at first everyone thought her stepfather did something. We know that's impossible now. One of the emails I couldn't believe, and it's not from Andrew to Jeffrey Epstein. It's from someone in his circle. That's all I can figure out. I don't know the name because it's redacted for me. Okay. And it said, "More Romanians, please. Long hair that ride horses." What did the FBI think happened to Madalena Kojakari?
T3 trafficking.
T3 trafficking, and they believe she's in Romania.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about that on other Madalena Kojakari shows about the...
I mean, I was called crazy when I said, I don't know why people keep saying this Pizzagate thing isn't real. These people are crazy. And they're like, oh my God, these are just people that just get together and just eat marshmallows and drink grape soda and pizza and beef jerky. And I'm like,
celebrate their birthdays in Pizza Express, right?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so you're telling me these very rich people drink grape soda and eat a marshmallow afterward and have a piece of pizza. We know what they really eat. Come on. But when that said, long hair, rides horses, more Romanians preferred, I was like,
2008,
Yeah,
he was convicted of
Yep.
soliciting and procuring a minor for prostitution. He was jailed. This was
Yes.
your friend. How
Yes.
did you feel about it?
Well, I ceased contact with him after I was aware that he was under investigation. And that
Liar.
was later
Liar.
on in
Liar.
2006.
Liar. You invited him to your house.
And I wasn't in touch with him
after.
again until 2010. So I just it was one of those things that if somebody's going through that sort of thing. Well, I'm terribly sorry, I can't be.
So no
associated.
contact.
No contact.
When he was serving
Brooks.
time, there was no call, no
Brooks.
letter, nothing there.
Except here's an email.
Brooks, you know
Yeah.
you have access to the files. Can you? You don't need to do it right now, but at some point, would you just look through the dates on the files and find out if that was actually true? Because I do not believe that he did not have any contact with Epstein between 2006 and 2010. I think he's lying.
Oh, no, what are you talking about? I'm not a robot. Are you 18 years of age or older? Yeah, I've told you that for like fucking 6 weeks. No, no, there's an email. There's emails that go, I mean, almost all the way up to his death.
2006, 2010. He blatantly just sat there and
Yeah.
expected us all to believe that he had no contact with this man between 2006 and 2010, and he sat there and bullface lied his ass off. I mean, that's only one of the things he's lied about. Is, you know, in the grand scheme of things, quite a minor detail. But now the evidence is there. So how are you going to deny you didn't have contact for 4 years with someone when there's written evidence that you did? I know it's in the grand scheme of things, maybe it's not important, but that's just one of the things he lied about.
It's super important. It's super important. Okay, let me put in here. Yeah, I'm 18. I keep telling them that all the time.
They don't believe you, Brooks.
Andrew, hang on. Hang on. It's under Prince Andrew still. Prince Andrew. Oh, that lights up like a fucking Christmas tree. No. Mm-mm. No. Mm-mm. That lights up like a fucking Christmas tree.
Right.
And also, for some reason, Andrew and Charles asked George H.W. Bush, who was our president from 89 to 93, to pardon a sex offender, and he did. Those two. And then suddenly, because he runs in the same circle as Ghislaine, he said he knew he would eventually meet Jeffrey. No, you introduced Jeffrey to her.
Right.
Now from Andrew to Epstein in 2009. Please, may I stay in your beautiful apartment again? Andrew was asking about using Epstein's place in Paris at a time when he says there was no contact.
Right.
He was released in July. Within months, by December of 2010, you went to stay with him at his New York.
He served.
Yeah, that's what you do, don't you? You go stay with convicted paedophiles.
He stayed
Like, it's just
18 months in county jail. He wasn't in a federal prison. He was in county jail. Okay. And he was fine. I mean, he was fine. I mean, they were feeding him proper.
probably got him a therapy dog as well or some shit. Sorry, go on, Brooks.
Oh no, you're fine. OJ's bothering me. No, so 18 months in county jail, which was stupid because that case should have been given to the FBI, not handled by some little ass police department. And then he's out, he's, living large again. He tells Andrew, none of this is a big deal. He said, Americans don't take these things serious like you Brits do. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so they're back on like Donkey Kong. Then he's under house arrest, okay, because Alex Acosta put him under house arrest in 2009, but he kept doing what he was doing. And when he says, no, We can read for ourselves.
Mansion. Why? Why were you staying with a convicted sex offender?
Right. I have always, ever since this has happened, and since this has become, as it were, public knowledge that I was there, I've questioned myself as to why did I go, what was I doing, and was it the right thing to do?
But this email was sent as soon as Epstein's sentence was over in July 2010, saying, "Congratulations," as he'd found out you were allowed out from yesterday. While in New York, this picture was taken of the pair walking in a park.
Okay, now this is supposed to be their breakup meeting when they're together, for him to say we can't be friends anymore. That can just be done by not answering the phone or answering email. But it was big celebration when Jeffrey got out of county jail. A big celebration.
Let me say congratulations that you were allowed out of jail for being a sex offender. Congratulations on that. By the way, I'm just going to stop over in New York, and then we're going to have this like full-on conversation in a park about how we can't see each other anymore. And there's going to be tears, and it's all going to be like, oh, and then I'll drop you an email as soon as I get home.
Andrew gave an account of their conversation where their connection was said to have been severed.
Look, because of what has happened, I don't think it is appropriate that we should remain in contact. And by mutual agreement during that walk in the park, we decided that we would part company, and I left, I think it was the next day. And to this day, I never had any contact with him from that day forward.
But contact showed no signs of stopping. Soon after, Andrew was back in the UK. It was great to spend time with my US family. Looking forward to joining you all again soon, he told Epstein. I'll call you tomorrow, as I'm moving the family up to Sandringham during the day. The no contact had evaporated. Andrew went on to say Epstein had been understanding about the end of their relationship, with Andrew insisting that with all the attendant scrutiny on me, it was over. But months later, they were still sending friendly emails to each other, with Andrew in February 2011 promising Epstein, "We'll..."
They failed to mention that after the walk in the park, Woody Allen shows up to the apartment. You know, the dude that married his stepdaughter.
Oh yeah, the one that Jen Soto was saying she didn't want that to happen to Maddie, right?
Katie Couric and Matt Lauer. And they were all partying together. They were having a great time.
Yeah. But this was after he had no contact with him ever again. Yeah, sure, Jan.
Everyone knows how to tell someone to fuck off or not talk to him or walk. And I guarantee he's got people that can do it for him.
Or he could have just sent an email, since he's pretty good at that.
Forcefully. Never contact this palace ever again. They've done it to other people. Why not him?
But months later, they were still sending friendly emails to each other, with Andrew in February 2011 promising Epstein, "We'll play some more soon." In the interview, he maintained that he had taken a moral stance on cutting off ties with Epstein. It seemed an important part of his testimony.
I took the decision that it was, I had to show leadership, and I had to go and see him, and I had to tell him, that's it.
Although the emails suggest that wasn't it. They were even in touch on Christmas Day. Emily Maitlis pressed the point about this being their only connection since his conviction in 2008.
Was that visit, December of 2010, the only time you saw him after he was convicted?
Yes.
Did you see him or speak
No.
to him again?
No.
That's disputed by the emails. Can you speak any time from now until later today? That was...
I'd say it's a bit more than disputed. I think it's probably like completely blown out of the water. It's
disputed. I've got the files pulled up right now.
Right.
I've got them pulled up right now.
Just like the words they're using, disputed. No, it's full on proven. Wow.
Yeah, disputed. Those are his words. These are government documents. Okay. And if anyone says, oh, that one's not telling the truth, if one thing in there is a lie, then it's all a lie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that right now. These are government documents from many countries. So if there's one lie, you scratch a lie, you find a thief. If there's one lie, then it's all lies. If one thing has been withheld, then it's all a lie. And it won't go anywhere. No court in any country. I don't care if you're in fucking Nigeria where they steal money from Laura Uli. I don't care. They wouldn't hear it.
Andrew's message to Epstein on Christmas Eve after that trip. One of a number of emails that seemed to be about setting up phone calls. The interview turned to Virginia Roberts, whose later married name was Virginia Giuffre, and who became Andrew's most prominent accuser before her death in 2025.
I believe this shit because I wasn't paying attention. When he said, people asked to take pictures with me all the time. She wanted a picture to show her mom. And I'm like, makes sense to me. And I moved along with my day. Then I start hearing about Pizzagate and Straterra and all kinds of stuff. This was in the, like, around 2011, 2012. And I'm like, what? Hell's going on with all these people?
You see, I might have believed it if he hadn't have said that he definitely didn't remember meeting that woman because he was in Pizza Express celebrating his daughter's birthday. That was the point where I was like, oh, so it is true then. Because why would you make such a shit excuse as, oh no, it couldn't have possibly been me because I was in Pizza Express celebrating my daughter's birthday. That to me was like instantly proved that he was lying.
Yeah, exactly. Kimberly, how did she die? Well, they say suicide, but you remember she was almost hit by a bus a few days before. She said, I have 3 days to die. They say it's a drug overdose, but they did find something between a little prick between her piggy toe and the next toe on her left foot. So they believe that she didn't drug herself that way.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady. None whatsoever.
You don't remember meeting her?
No.
Behind the scenes, there were emails back and forth about her claims. That included preparing a statement for Ghislaine Maxwell to explain her position, including a contribution from Amanda Thirsk, Andrew's private secretary and close advisor. Her proposal was to reject Virginia's claims about being trafficked for sex with Andrew as completely untrue, but she suggested that Maxwell said, the only time I recall the meeting was at my home in 2001 in London. You have published a photo. They did not have sex. They may have met up again in New York, but I categorically state that Prince Andrew did not grope, nor did they have sex. There was no orgy in Little St. James. It rejected.
There was. And Virginia was there, and so was Andrew's daughters.
Kids. Yeah, exactly.
Andrew's own children. So Ghislaine can say whatever she wants. You can lie in an email. I mean, shit. I mean, someone can send me an email right now, and, I can just respond back and say, oh, sorry, it's my birthday. I'm out to celebrate. No harm, no foul. I'm lying, obviously. She's totally lying.
Paid her 12 million though, didn't he?
Yep. But to them, that's fine. It's done. It's over. Just shut her up. And when she wouldn't shut up, she's dead. And people scream, why don't you let the victims talk? Then let them talk. They've been on the Today Show. They've been on CBS Morning News. They've been on Good Morning America. Then you schedule an interview.
Any wrongdoing, but it accepted that they had met in London and possibly New York, and the photo of Giuffre and Andrew together was authentic. There was an explanation that he was in Woking at Pizza Express, and more doubt was cast on the photo.
You've seen the photo?
I've seen the photograph.
How do you explain that?
I can't. Because I have absolutely no memory of that photograph ever being taken.
But an email from Ghislaine Maxwell again appears to confirm that there was a meeting with Giuffre that evening at Maxwell's London house, and that the photo was taken there. In a draft statement she sent,
They were at some club called Tramp in London.
Yeah.
And they were dancing and stuff like that. He had his bodyguards with him and everything. And she kept talking about how much he was sweating. But he can't sweat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because everyone believes that, don't they? I mean,
and like he asked her like 500 times how his dancing looked. I'm like, you probably looked like fucking Napoleon Dynamite.
he's like, I hate to say it, but he's like the uncle that if you go to a wedding and there's that uncle, like you don't dance with him, you don't go anywhere near him, you keep your kids away from him. You're like, don't go and dance with Uncle Andrew, okay? Just if Uncle Andrew even approaches you, just scream and run away. He's that uncle on a massively bigger scale, but you know what I'm saying? Like he's definitely that sketchy uncle at a wedding.
Exactly. And the United States is wasting everybody's time and money with these hearings because they're bringing in people that are not relevant. The Clintons, yes. Les Wexler, yes. But they're not going to do anything with them. And they're already sitting there bold-faced lying to them. Bring in the victims and ask them questions. Do it. Do it. Why are they scared to?
To Jeffrey Epstein in 2015. She wrote, in 2001, I was in London when met a number of friends of mine, including Prince Andrew. A photograph was taken, as I imagine she wanted to show it to friends and family. It doesn't seem to dispute the photo or the meeting. There have been more recent calls for Andrew to testify about what he knew, and Emily Maitlis put that question to him.
Would you be willing to testify or give a statement under oath if you were asked?
Well, I'm like everybody else. And I would have to take all.
Just like everybody else.
Right. Sure thing, Jan.
He's just like Kat. He's just a regular common Joe. He's just like, unfortunately, Christina, Ilyanka, Susan. Well, you know, I'm like everybody else. As he's shaking his head like a fucking bobblehead going, fuck it. Nothing's ever going to happen.
You saw his face when he came out of that cell yesterday, right?
Oh, yeah. He's just like...
He's just like everybody else.
Just like everybody else. Like I said, that looks like OJ when I scored him with water.
The legal advice that there was before I was to do that sort of thing. But if push came to shove and the legal advice was to do so, then I would.
He's coughing more than Hunter in the Summer Wilson.
Yeah, that's what happens when you lie. You end up swallowing your words, and that's exactly what's happening to him. He's choking on his words.
There, Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope the French officials pick up the Diana case, Dodi Al-Fayed and all of it, because that's where it happened. There's no statute of limitations for murder, and they get to the bottom of what happened. Because with what was revealed in the files, this was no fender bender at all.
For real.
Be bound to do so.
Among the significant findings of the released emails is how hard the US authorities tried to get Andrew to testify, with no sign of him or his lawyers being willing. The US authorities concluded in an email from 2020 that efforts to obtain a truly voluntary interview have been exhausted. They then began a formal process of trying to compel Andrew to give evidence. More than 6 years after the Newsnight interview, there is still no sign of him planning to share what he knows about Epstein. As the interview came to a close, Emily Maitlis then asked more about Andrew's feelings about the scandal and how the royals should respond. His response, once again, relies on the claim that he'd cut ties with Epstein on that New York trip in 2010.
I know that I made the wrong judgment.
But he didn't. He went back to him several times to get money for Sarah Ferguson. His children went to the island.
And I made the wrong decision. But I made the wrong decision and the wrong judgment, I believe, fundamentally for the right reasons, which is to say to somebody, I'm not going to see you again. And in fact, from that day forth, I was never in contact with him.
The emails show
Naya.
he was frequently still in contact. That included sending Epstein official documents from.
And not to mention, both him and Bill Gates were sending pictures of their cock and balls to Jeffrey Epstein so he could judge them. Okay?
You know, that's one thing I definitely won't be looking up when I get access to the files. I definitely won't be looking at those pictures.
You can just tell from the context that's what's going on.
Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there was an email from Epstein back to Bill Gates that had this whole video, and he was fabulous, but need more torture. Yeah, it goes on and on.
From Andrew's trips as trade envoy, including confidential information from Afghanistan. All of that was sent after the time he claimed not to be in contact. Emily Maitlis gave him one more chance to make an apology.
I wonder if you have any sense now of guilt, regret, or shame about any of your behavior and your friendship with Epstein.
As far as Mr. Epstein is concerned, it was the wrong decision to go and see him in 2010.
He talked about some seriously beneficial outcomes from their relationship.
Was I right in having him as a friend at the time? And bearing in mind this was some years before he was accused of being a sex offender. I don't think there was anything wrong then. The problem was the fact that once he had been convicted,
You stayed with him.
I stayed with him.
From the released files, the emails indicate that Epstein's conviction wasn't any problem for Andrew. As we've seen, his response at the end of Epstein's sentence was congratulations, and their personal, social, and business connection had shown no signs of stopping. We have contacted Andrew Mountbatten Windsor for comment. He's previously denied any wrongdoing.
That was really interesting that was a BBC video, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to go look at that because I hadn't actually seen that video before you showed it.
I mean, they're putting a lot of stuff out in the files. And so when people keep saying, but where's the files? Where's the files? Do you know how to use the internet? They're there. Do you know how to navigate the internet? They're there. Basically, every country these freaks have ever been, they have the files.
Well, we wouldn't have arrested the prince, ex-prince, formerly known as Prince, whatever his fucking symbol name is.
I want to
We wouldn't
know.
have arrested him without having the evidence in the files, because evidently the evidence wasn't released before, because otherwise this all would have happened before.
They better not put those videos out. And I mean, I know Congress people, Senate, your parliament. I mean, they've seen all that stuff. No, they're not going to show that to us.
The
Hell,
thing is, though, Brooks, if you think about it, what, like, you know, if this was like another child, say it happened to another child, like for example, Madeleine Soto, right? No one was ever going to see those videos and those photos, but the people that investigated the crimes against her and the jury would have had to have been shown them at the trial. Other than that, nobody else would ever, 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 ever have seen those photos, and rightly they shouldn't, because you're not allowed to watch that kind of thing happening to children. You're not allowed to see it. There's a reason why you're not allowed to see it, because it's criminal. So I don't honestly know why anybody is going looking for the images and videos. Like, why? For what reason? You don't need to see stuff like that, in my opinion.
certain people that we know that take up for pedophiles.
Right.
Like, I won't believe this until I see the videos. And I'm like,
Really?
you're really going to sit there and you're going to eat cheese puffs and you're going to watch that.
Right.
No, thank you. Do you
Exactly.
do you seriously want to go to jail just for viewing it?
Hell no. You can't even have that kind of stuff on your phone. Well, I don't know about there, but here you can't even have that kind of stuff anywhere near your devices. You know what I mean? Like, even if someone sent it to you on WhatsApp, you could get prosecuted because someone else sent you a clip or an image or a video that's deemed to be that kind of material. You cannot watch it. And anybody that needs to watch it or needs to see it really seriously needs to take a really close look at themselves to find out if they're okay. because if you need to see shit like that, you might have a bit of an issue with the old PDF files, if you know what I mean.
No, I just screenshot stuff and put it in Discord. And obviously
Not images and videos, you don't. Don't say that. We don't have images
no,
like that in
no,
our
God,
Discord.
no, Lord, no, I don't do that. No, I've been going through the emails, and I mean, it's
Oh,
going
no,
to
I'm not talking about the emails. I'm talking about the images and videos. Anyone that actually says they need to see those images and videos before they'll believe it really seriously needs to go and have a little chat with PC Plod down the road there. Maybe
Yeah.
explain to them that they need to see videos of children being abused or whatever. Because that's some shit, man.
It certainly is. And I mean, I don't need the context. I don't need the actual video. I can tell from the emails.
Exactly.
And someone is saying brilliant, fabulous, whatever, but need more torture next time.
Oh. Yeah. It's just sick beyond belief.
It truly is. All right, you guys, I have kept you way too long, and I apologize for that. I know my friend, UK correspondent Kat, has got to get back to work. Thank you so much for paying attention to this show today. I mean, I know it's everywhere, and your old buddy Brooks gets a little tiny slice of the pie on the old YouTube. So thank you for being here. If you take a second, please hit the like, because all we brought you today was facts. All of this is based off the arrest and the files. There is no speculation. There is no saying, I think this instead. No, this is totally based on facts. UK Cat.
Thank you, Brooks. Really appreciate having a chance to chat with you guys about it. It's been really interesting, and thanks for doing the show.
Well, in closing, I want you to close the show out.
What would you like me to say? Anything specific or just American bloke?
I guess you can just close it with, like, what do you think's going to happen? I mean, do you think, Andrew's going to flee? Like, what do you think's going to happen?
There's a difference between what I think's going to happen and what I think should happen. If I'm going to have to say what I think will happen, I think the king is going to continue in his role as the king. I think the prime minister is going to continue in his role as the prime minister until the next election. And I think that Andrew probably they're going to continue to investigate him. And at some point in the future, they'll probably bring more charges against him if they find enough evidence on the other charges that he's been accused of. And I guess they'll move to arrest him again, and we could be here all over again in a few months' time. Let's hope so anyway, because someone's got to start taking consequences for the heinous stuff that was released in the files. Not just him, many people, but ultimately, if they've got the evidence, let them charge him and let this be the start of many more to come.
Exactly. And just to be clear, this charge has nothing to do with, it has something to do with Jeffrey Epstein, has nothing to do with the horrible things that were going on that island. This has to do with insider trading, and basically espionage. So don't get it twisted. Okay, that came out in the files, that all that stuff was released to Jeffrey Epstein, and he sold it for lots of money to other countries. And it was all about Israel. All right, you guys are the absolute best. I will see you over in Discord. Me love you long time.